Are you ready for an Italian feast? That's what we're going to make today. We're going to start with some crusted chicken Parmesan that is so mouth-watering, and then we're going to pair it with an Italian casserole. It's one of our family's favorites, and I think you're going to love it too. So jump on in and make it with me. Hi, I'm Mary Katherine, and welcome to my table. We're going to make this Italian meal today, and let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you what I've got over here, and then we'll get started putting some things together. I've already got some pasta going here. This is just some cheese tortellini, and you can use really whatever kind of pasta you like. I have made this dish with whatever I've got in my pantry. So you can make it with whatever you've got in your pantry or whatever you find at your store that you want to buy. This is delicious with the cheese tortellini, but it is great with just plain old spaghetti noodles or rotini noodles or whatever, really. And so you cook whatever you like. That's going to be for our Italian casserole. And I'm actually going to turn this off now because it's about ready. So I'm going to just pull it off the heat. Cook yours just according to your package directions. Mine was some fresh pasta. You can use the boxed pasta as well and just cook it according to the package directions. That's all you need to do. The other part of our meal is going to be this crusted Parmesan chicken, and I'm going to show you how to put that together now. I've kind of got my chicken started, but I'll show you how I do it as well. But before I finish and get my hands in the chicken, I'm going to show you what we crust it with. We just use some of these breadcrumbs, and you can use whatever flavor you like. Sometimes I just have the plain ones. And if I do that, then I just go ahead and add my own spices to it. I might add, the garlic or some onion powder, garlic salt, that kind of thing. I am going to add a little bit of Italian seasoning. But what you want to do, you just want to use equal parts. And I'm going to use, I think, about a 3/4 cup measurement is what we're going to need for this amount of chicken today. And then you add equal part of Parmesan cheese. You can use whatever kind of Parmesan cheese you have or you like. If you want to grate your own, that would be delicious. But you can just use this that comes in a can. It's something I have on hand most of the time, and it makes a great crust too for this chicken. And so then I'm just going to get a little bit of Italian seasoning and sprinkle in here. I don't have to put a whole lot of this because you've already got pretty good flavor for the breadcrumbs that come with the seasoning already. So anyway, that looks pretty good for that. And so I'm just going to give it a quick mix to get the breadcrumbs and the Parmesan cheese mixed up together. That looks like it's pretty well mixed. And then the other part of this is some melted butter. And I've already got my butter melted. I'm going to pull it out. And I'm just going to set these two dishes close together because we're going to go from one to the other as we put this chicken dish together. And then I've already got my pan sprayed. This is just like a 9x13 size pan. And the only other thing I'm going to use is salt and pepper. And I'm just going to salt and pepper the chicken a little bit before I put them in the butter and the breadcrumb mixture. And how I do my chicken, I just take boneless, skinless chicken breasts. And I don't want them quite as thick as they typically come. So I just slice it in half lengthwise just to make a thinner piece of chicken. It's going to give you more pieces. And really, it's a better size for what people will eat. Okay, and we go ahead and cut all the way through these. We don't leave them connected like you would for butterfly chicken sometimes. Okay, so now that I've got that done, I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of salt on all of these. And I had 3 chicken breasts today. So we're going to end up with 6 pieces of chicken since we've cut them in half. I'm just going to put a little bit of salt and pepper on these. And then the rest of the flavor is just going to come from what we've put here in the breadcrumb mixture. So then it's really simple. We just take each one, dip it very quickly in the butter and the breadcrumb mixture, like that. And then lay it in our pan. This is a great dish. It goes really well with lots of things. If you just need a quick weeknight dinner, this chicken can be put together so quickly, and I love that about it. And it was one of our family's favorites. We just all really liked it. You can serve it with Italian food, but it also goes really well with just a variety of vegetables or sides or salads. So we've used it in lots of different ways. And looks like for my 6 pieces of chicken we ended up with today, it's going to be just about the right amount of the breadcrumb Parmesan cheese mixture. So that's great. Okay, I'm just going to kind of squeeze these around in the pan. Just going to kind of scoot some of them up the side and make a little room. I'm just going to put it all in the same dish. And then if you like, just whatever you've got left, you can take and just drizzle over your whole pan again. Just use it all up. Give a little extra crisp and crunch to your chicken. Because you won't want to reuse this for anything else. So you may as well use it here on this dish. Okay. There we go. We've got our chicken put together. And this bakes at 350 degrees for about 30 to 40 minutes. And then it will be done. Okay, now this is the other part of our meal. We're going to put together the Italian casserole. We've already cooked our pasta. It's just sitting there waiting. We are going to make a homemade Alfredo sauce. And this is one of those items that I never buy in a jar at the grocery store. It is just not as good as what you can make homemade. This certainly is not an authentic Alfredo sauce. If you want to do that, you certainly can. But this is a recipe I got years ago from a lady, and it's so simple, and it's really a no-fail recipe. And it is 10 times better than what you will buy in a jar at the grocery store. And it's so quick to put it together that it's worth it. Just a few minutes of putting it together, and you've got something so much better than what you get at the store. Here's what we start with. We have 1 stick of butter, that's half a cup, and we have 1 block of cream cheese, that's 8 ounces. So we start with that, and then you take about 3/4 of a cup of Parmesan cheese. That may be just a little more. I'm just going to add the rest to it. You really can't mess this up. Those measurements are on the recipe, but I have fudged them several times, and it always turns out great no matter what. And then the recipe calls for half a cup of milk. So I'm going to add whole milk into this. And then you want this on a fairly low temperature. Let me see where. Yeah, I'm going to turn it down pretty low because this does tend to stick and it can scorch pretty quickly. So you have to watch it. And you do want to have your whisk handy as things melt, just to keep that milk and the cheese from sticking to the bottom of the pan. And then as it gets near the end, we may add just a splash of some heavy cream, just to add a little added creaminess to our dish. It just gives a little more depth of flavor and just makes it really yummy. You don't have to do that. You can use just milk. You can use some half and half. You can use heavy cream, whatever you have. But the recipe calls for just simply milk, and it's delicious that way as well. So anyway, we just need to give a few minutes just for our butter and our cream cheese to kind of melt and bring this sauce together. Okay, our sauce is almost ready. Just needs a little bit longer. I'm going to add just a smidge of garlic sea salt to this. The recipe doesn't call for it, but I like to sometimes just give it a little extra flavor, so I'm going to do that now. And I did add just a little bit of extra milk to this as well. The recipe measurements that I gave you is the way that it is on the recipe. It will do exactly 8 ounces of fettuccine. So if you ever wanted to make fettuccine for your family, cook an 8-ounce box of fettuccine, and that amount of sauce will be just perfect for that. Sometimes for this casserole, though, I want my sauce to go a little bit farther. And so I add a little extra milk. So I did that, maybe an extra 1/3 of a cup. And now I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of heavy cream. That's probably 3 or 4 tablespoons I added. Just going to use up that little box. Just give that little extra richness to it. And you can see everything's just about blended and melted all together. And let's almost come to a boil. And I don't really need it to come to a boil, so I'm going to turn it off. I'm just going to pull it off now. So now that our sauce is ready, I have drained our pasta. And I'm just going to pour this on and kind of coat all of it with it pretty well. And I'm going to stop before I add all of it, because sometimes, depending on how much pasta I've cooked, I may not need quite all the sauce. And I think that's going to be the case today. See, that looks like it's coating it very well. So that's going to be plenty. We can save that and use it another night for something else. And this will keep in your refrigerator. I have used it up to a week or two later, because the ingredients are the butter and the cream cheese. And those things tend to have a pretty good shelf life in your fridge. You know, the other parts of it, the milk and the cream, they would also have a life of at least about a week, but you've cooked them as well. So that adds a little bit of time to it. So I have used it a week or two later, and it is still delicious and just fine. So once we've done that, I'm going to add it to my pan. I've already sprayed this. This is a 9x13 pan. My kitchen is smelling really good right now. I wish you guys were here to eat it with me. And then what I do on top of this, I just take some marinara sauce. And if you want to make your own marinara, you can do that as well. But I do have jarred sauce, and I will use this jarred sauce. Right now I have maybe a little over half a jar left from another use. And so that's going to be enough to just top this casserole. The main point of this casserole is just to kind of combine these two sauces. You want a little bit of white and a little bit of red sauce. So if you have a whole jar and want to use it all, or if you just have a partial jar and want to make that work, it's very adjustable. So that's great. All right. And then once we do that, then I just top it with a little bit of mozzarella cheese. Just like this. And then this is going to bake in our oven at 350, also for about 30 minutes. So the chicken that we've already made and then this Italian casserole, I'm going to bake together, and they'll both be ready about the same time. So we'll put some veggies with it, and we will have our meal together. There you go. You've got Italian casserole ready to go in the oven. Okay, and I've got my oven heated, so we're going to go in with both of them. Okay, this kitchen smells so good right now. Our food is ready. I ended up leaving both of them in for 40 minutes. The casserole probably could have come out a little bit earlier, but it didn't hurt it to leave in the whole time with the chicken. So you can see it just looks delicious. And so I'm going to plate it up, and we're going to give some of it a try now. And as you can see, I've cooked some broccoli to go with this today, and that's a great side dish. You could also just do a salad. You could even put some vegetables in your casserole if you want, and sometimes I do that. You could chop up some spinach and just add it like when you're doing your pasta with your Alfredo sauce, and the spinach will kind of wilt in with it. Or you can add broccoli on top before you add your marinara sauce and cheese. You can certainly do that if you want to. I opted just to leave it this way today for you to see the basic casserole. And so now let's scoop it out and get a little bit on our plate here. Ooh, look at that cheesy goodness. It's going to be delicious. And here's one of the tortellinis. And like I said, you can use any kind of pasta in this. It doesn't have to be the tortellini. You're going to get the same basic flavors if you just use both your sauces with any kind of pasta. So that's what we have today. Our crusted Parmesan chicken, our Italian casserole, and then I just did some broccoli on the side. And I just steamed. I had one of those bags you steam in your microwave for my broccoli. So I just did it the easy way today. And you can see how tender this chicken bakes, and it's always like that. You don't even need a knife. Your fork will just cut through it so easily. All right, let's taste it. Mmm. Mmm. It's just simple flavors, but it's so good. I really think you're going to like that. It's delicious. Okay, let's try our casserole. Make sure I got a little bit of both sauces. It's all throughout it, so it's hard to miss them. Yes, you're going to like that too. If you're looking for a good alternative to just a regular Italian meal like spaghetti at your house, this is a great dish. You'll love it. Thank you so much for joining me today at Mary Catherine's table. I'm so glad you were with me for this, one of our family's favorite meals. I hope your family loves it too. And remember, find somebody today who needs a little bit of kindness and give them some of yours.